Hello everyone and welcome back to Crypto Atlas. In today's video, we will be talking about Bitcoin, Orchid, looking at Ethereum, the graph. We'll also be taking a look at XRP and what's going on with that. But first, we'll be starting off with the latest news and then we'll take a look at the charts. So if you guys are new to the channel, please don't forget to hit subscribe. We're getting really close to another milestone on this channel and I would love to have you be a part of this awesome community that we have going on here. And if you can, please drop a like. We are trying to push to 100 likes on every video that we do on this channel. Click the bell icon so you can be alerted of the latest videos, and let's get right into this. First up in the news, Bitcoin chart points to Bitcoin peaking out in early 2021. This is what a trader is suggesting. It's still quite bullish on an intermediate term basis, given that it just broke out to new all-time highs. Newton said, I think we have a ways to go. Near term, my cycle composite shows us peaking out in early January. Early January. Right? So they're saying that with SPACs right now, you can make money at 10, 15, 20% a day, he said. I just don't think that investors have quite the appetite for crypto, while the institutions are certainly very much heading in that direction. It's interesting when you start to hear perspective views from other people. You can look at this right here, Bitcoin cycle to turn. Bitcoin cycle composite, this is comparing it to 2017, although once again, a lot of things have changed since 2017. And as I'm looking at this article here, we just formed on the new daily candle with a closure putting us above $27,000 yet again, setting another record. Guys, so basically what just happened right now is that the new daily candle formation is off of a previous all-time high daily closure, and Bitcoin is still having some massive rally action starting to take place right now. So this is really exciting. When I was actually preparing everything earlier, this was slightly in the red zone. So a big push taking place right before the daily candle closure, and I was actually thinking, and I was preparing myself to say this in the video, I would have liked to have seen this close out a little bit in the red. We did see a massive drop take place and a lot of recovery action afterwards, so you could say that that selling pressure has already kind of relieved itself. Wow, there's a lot of green going on right now. This thing is pushing pretty heavy. I'm not going to complain. If it keeps going up, great. But having just another day of red in between these positions, as we have had a lot of green action going up, it's nice to see a couple days here and there of some red, just as a little bit of recovery, and it has the action and movement being able to further continue on, right? So we are in uncharted territories right now. We'll look more at this anyways, but absolutely amazing. Yeah, so Newton's other chart, which uses 3 different Bitcoin cycles, the main one being 273 days to track changes in the cryptocurrency's path, hints at an upcoming turn in Bitcoin's direction. All these years where we had a stellar fourth quarter, we reversed course in trend back in late December, early January, and actually went lower, he said. So I think there will be some opportunity for investors to be able to buy dips in crypto and Bitcoin particularly. So if you look at historical trends, yes, this is what's suggestive, although the fact is that we are in new uncharted territories in that price discovery range, so it is hard to logistically reference previous trends at a point in which we are right now to sufficiently state where that they will be going next. So the higher odds of probability are that they will follow those trends, but to definitively say it is not an appropriate way to phrase it. Okay. Next up, Panthers. Russell Okung, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this guy's name. He becomes the first NFL player to be paid in Bitcoin. This was actually misconstrued. I looked up a little bit more information on it. So according to this article, it's stating that he's getting paid half of his amount, his salary in Bitcoin. His $13 million yearly salary is being split 50-50 between Bitcoin and fiat, Mallard said Monday in a phone interview with Coinbase. I got to show this right now because I'm seeing this on the side of my eyes. Look at all these liquidated shorts that are taking place. Holy cow, man. $27,500, nearing $27,600. And still rising, still going up, baby. Holy cow. Okay. Well, that is... That's moving quite a bit there. If it goes up about another $1,000, I think that could be right around the range of a potential top, just so you guys know. One way that you look at it psychologically is if you're trying to make $100,000, it's about at 3.5 Bitcoin, because we're past the 4 Bitcoin position at $25,000. So if you go at every 0.5 levels at 3.5 Bitcoin, it's like $28,600 or so. So it's about another $1,000. I'll be curious to see how it reacts to that, as some people might look to try and take profits, or other people might let it continue to ride. It's a little bit of an oddity for a number, as a lot of people typically are going to be looking at this psychologically from a $500 position, right? 500, 500 up, 500 up, etc. 27,500, 28,000 right now. Because we passed 27,500, we're leaning more towards the $28,000 mark. So a lot of people are probably thinking like, hey, 28K looks like it's possible now. We're closer to that. It's going to take more to get down than it is to get up at this position, right? Anyway, so going back to this article, what actually is the case is that he's getting paid in dollars, this NFL player, and he is just choosing himself after he gets paid to then work with another provider, this company called Zap, in which then he could transfer over half of his income over into Bitcoin. So he is putting a large investment into Bitcoin, don't get me wrong, but to say that the NFL is paying him directly in Bitcoin is not actually a correct statement. So this was misinterpreted, and it was identified a little bit more clearly in some of the other news articles that came out afterwards. All right, after the recent price spike, Bitcoin requires enough power for a country of more than 200 million people. At 92.8 terawatt hours annualized, Bitcoin's power consumption is slightly ahead of Pakistan's consumption in 2016 and not wildly away from the Netherlands' consumption that year. Put a different way, the electricity consumed by minting Bitcoin could power all the tea kettles in Britain for 21 years. I will say this, that's a pretty weird reference. You're powering all of the tea kettles in Britain? So I'm guessing these are all electric tea kettles, or are you saying the stove to light the tea kettles? And also, how do we know how many tea kettles people have in Britain? And what about all the people that drink coffee? What if they use the pot to make not tea, but coffee? So does that not count for the tea? I'm just messing with you guys on this. I just thought it was really silly. 2/3 of Bitcoin production is done out of China. More than half of China's energy output comes from coal, so the Bitcoin production is likely to be particularly dirty. We got a lot of other options nowadays. It's 2020. What is going on? I mean, I'm sorry, but come on. They're largely using coal in the year 2020. I thought we got past this. Come on, China. I'm sure you have other ways that you could approach this. It's not only going to be better for the environment, but it's also going to be more cost efficient for you guys. Like, why are you relying on something so archaic? It's just ridiculous. Let me know what you guys think about it. China has historically known to have very bad atmospheric conditions, lots of smog, air pollution, things like that. So the fact that they're still pushing so hard with the idea of doing coal, it's horrible. And this picture, by the way, it's a bit misleading. This picture is from 5 years ago. It's from 2015. India is mulling imposing 18% tax on Bitcoin transactions. So in this article, they're actually saying that the people over in India, they kind of like this idea because it seems like it allowed them to do more stuff with Bitcoin over there. But at the same time, me personally, you just want my opinion on this, 18%, that's pretty heavy. Every time you're trying to do a transaction, it's their country, it's their decision on this, but I think 18% is a bit too much for doing every single transaction. That means they're taking almost 1/5 of everything that you're doing every time you decide to move it. You move it once, there's a fifth gone. You move it again, there's a fifth gone, right? An 18% GST on the estimated annual value of all Bitcoin transactions of INR 40,000 crore, roughly $5.5 billion, would yield INR 7,200 crore, or $1 billion in tax revenue. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not. It'd be about $1 billion in taxes. Trading volumes on exchanges catering to India-based clients have been rising ever since the Supreme Court quashed the Reserve Bank of India's banking ban on cryptocurrencies in March. While the Indian government does not consider Bitcoin legal tender, simply holding cryptocurrencies is not illegal or banned. Moving on, the second stimulus check, how Bitcoin could have made your first one worth about $5,000. Check this out, guys. So in the United States of America, back in the spring, it was $1,200 that Americans were given. That money, if used to buy the highly volatile cryptocurrency Bitcoin, as they so claim, could now be worth almost $5,000 after the price of Bitcoin jumped from under $10,000 per Bitcoin in April to almost $30,000 today, right? So we're at $27,469, $70. Let's go. 71, 75, still going up. Ooh, baby. Who knows? Maybe by the time we finish up this video, I'll be able to say we're almost to 28K. I don't know if we could hit another $500 in a short amount of time. You never know with these kinds of things, but it just rallied pretty heavy. I don't think that's going to happen as of this moment. And yeah, so let's go ahead and go into the next article. So check this out. Somebody had bought some cars with Bitcoin over at Vegas Auto Gallery, a luxury auto dealership in Las Vegas, has become a playground for wealthy Bitcoin investors who want to cash in. The dealership recently sold two high-end sports cars, a 2017 Pagani Huayra Roadster and a 2019 Bugatti Chiron to a customer who paid more than $6 million in Bitcoin, according to owner Nick Doza, who says about 3% to 5% of the dealership's revenue comes from Bitcoin transactions. That is right. Wow, $6 million worth of Bitcoin for two cars. Do you guys think that it's worth it? I know a lot of people have been saying that they're waiting for Bitcoin to go up enough. They want to be able to buy a Lamborghini. Me personally, I would rather be looking at buying a house than to buy a car, especially because I work from home and I never go out. So me buying a car really isn't going to do much for me. And you've also got to pay all of your insurance for an expensive car like that. And, you know, God forbid if you scratch your car, get into an accident or something like that, how much that's going to cost to get that repaired. And then you could say that it's a collectible item. As soon as you start to drive it, it's already losing some value as it is too. So I don't know, man. Buying really expensive cars like this, if you still got plenty more money, then I guess it really doesn't matter, right? If you're sitting on $50 million, you spend $6 million, you still got $44 million. $44 million, that's a lot of money. Still be able to buy a really nice house, have retirement, travel the world, all this other stuff. So, you know, it all depends on the circumstances. But, you know, let me know if you guys had enough Bitcoin, would you spend it on a luxury car or would you rather spend it on a house first? Whatever decision that you would be leaning towards first. Crypto token XRP falls as much as 31% after Coinbase says it will halt trading following the SEC complaint against Ripple. That's right. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission said on Wednesday that Ripple had effectively been running a $1.3 billion unregistered offering with its sales of XRP, which the regulator deemed a security and not a cryptocurrency. The Ripple CEO and co-founder Bradley Garlinghouse, who is named in the SEC's suit, said last week on the company's blog that the regulator had not given the firm clarity on whether its XRP token should be classified as a currency or a security. In regards to that, we're going to be taking a look at the charts here live, well, as of the time of me recording this video at least, while I discuss this just a little bit. So the XRP thing, if you want my personal opinion, I think that everything's basically going to get put on hold and the price of XRP is likely to drop considerably. But given the fact that they've been in this business for a while now, I would not be surprised if they have a settlement and they come bouncing right back. After that settlement, there should be no reason why Coinbase and any of these other exchanges that might be, well, Coinbase has already stated that they're going to disallow any trading until more clarity comes from this stuff. But, you know, once the trading is stopped, if this lawsuit finishes and they come right back, boom, they're back in the game. And a lot of people are going to say like, hey, all right, they're more stabilized. They've already got themselves taken care of with the SEC with this, so we shouldn't have the same problem come up again. And now there's more of a relationship built up. It's not a guarantee that this is going to happen. So please understand, it's a huge risk if you do decide that you want to invest any more into XRP, if you want to hold on to it. Me, I haven't invested very much in the past. I'm just going to let it ride. If I lose it, then it is what it is. That's the golden rule with investing anyways, right? Never invest more than what you're willing to lose. So I'm just going to let that ride. I've got my other investments and assets that are doing well, and that's great. If XRP goes considerably low enough, then I might load up some more, but that's just my personal decision. You know, some people will look at it and say that you're crazy, it's way too risky. Like there's lots of signs saying that the project's just dead now, and personally I don't think that it's fully dead yet. There's still the chance inside the court, and again, if I lose a little bit of money on it, then it's okay. It's not like I'm going to be trying to do $100,000 or something crazy like that if XRP goes down to 10 cents, because then I feel like that'd be a really stupid decision, unless there's something that you know that I don't know. You know what I mean? But if you're doing like, I don't know, $50, $100 or whatever at a 10-cent evaluation, 5-cent evaluation, and they come right back to Coinbase and it starts capitalizing, going back up to, say, the 50-cent range with what we've seen before at some point, right? Wow, you just made a huge return investment and you're only risking $50. So I don't know. It's up to you guys, however you want to approach it. It's just my opinion. It's my 2 cents worth or $50 worth or whatever, right? And people could also argue and say you can invest $50 into something else and be a lot less likely to lose your money, whatever. Anyways, so looking at Bitcoin on the daily candle, we did close out a nice green position. It did drop down quite a bit, actually dropped below this level of support in formation, what I had shown you guys from before, which was around $26,231, dropping all the way down, tapping right near this baseline of $25,776 before it decided to continue back up, nearing fairly close within the daily closure range in the red. It was about an hour beforehand. Right now it's 4:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 15 minutes into the new daily candle position, and it decided to continue to rally up, and you can see even on the new daily position it is still climbing up higher. In fact, as of right now, it is peaking still at the highest point in the day. We could see a continuous further climb as of right now. There is no other comparable point of reference of a cap except for back on the December 27th candle, which is at $28,400. If we can pass $28,000 right now, that's the key psychological level, and then obviously $28,400, $28,500, and then about the $28,600 and something range like I was talking about earlier, which would be the equivalent value of 3.5 Bitcoins worth to equal $100,000. And so that is looking at it on the daily position here. Real quick on the side, I want to say again, guys, if you are new and you are enjoying this stuff, and if you, especially you've watched my older videos, why not subscribe? I would love to have you guys be a part of the community. I would love to be able to celebrate hitting these milestones with you guys collectively. If you can, hit the like button. If you haven't yet, let's try to get to 100 likes if possible, and also click that bell icon so you can stay up to date whenever we have one of these new videos. And also be sure to drop comments down below. You can say hi, you can talk about the stuff that was in the news, if there's anything that I missed, things like that. If you feel there's different price ranges than what I'm talking about with all this. On the 15-minute chart for Bitcoin, you can see some nice rallying taking place. As of right now, we are 2 minutes into the next 15-minute candle, but the previous 15-minute candle shows quite a substantial amount of volume. We saw that comparatively back on this candle position right here. And then prior to that, we haven't seen anything occur since back on the previous day position, which is also a green. There were some reds that took place before that as well. So a little bit of selling pressure going on. Starting to see some stronger movements in that rally up. Some pullback occurring as of the moment right here, which you guys can see on this graph. Just a little bit. Binance Futures, Bybit seeming to be the main holders pushing that price down, but they're also largely contributed to the price that goes up. So there's a lot of action going on those as far as the derivatives market position. If Bitcoin decides that it wants to drop down, I would largely be concerned also at the lowest end right here in the 21 EMA. Just so you guys know, that's around $23,640. This is with the 21 EMA, which is now actually increasing its slope position. And that's because it's a little bit of a lagging indicator. This is in reference to previous positions, right? So you can actually see if we take a line like this, which shows you that angle trajectory, and I just carry this position right up onto here. If it was to continue straight, it would actually be a little bit lower at $23,026. Instead, because the angle is now shifted up higher, it's at $23,677. And by doing so, that means it's actually easier for this to go down and tap it as this continues to climb up at a steep slope. So either this momentum needs to continue on, or this needs to kind of flatline out. If this passes below the 21 EMA, then it starts to show more bearish signs. If there's enough trend, 2 to 3 patterns, right, 2 to 3 candles of closure below that 21 EMA, that would actually signify that we're now in a bear market, and there's more likelihood of the price continuing to go down for a while, right? So just a little bit of caution with that. I'd also be looking at a lower position right here, as we saw, that's at the $25,800 level. And then I would also be a little bit concerned, as we can see some reference points here. This is right around $24,388. So for a potential drop. Let's go ahead and look at some of the other ones. I'm going to move through these pretty quickly for you guys. Looking at Ethereum, Ethereum is still holding strong once again above $700, making a nice strong rally. A little bit of concern here. We do have a lot of green candles with no red showing up. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row of nothing but green. At some point, you can only go positive every day until you have an eventual reversal, and they say that you typically take the stairs up and the elevator down. So I'm a little bit concerned with something like that. You can see that it almost closed out in the red. There was a lot of selling off that took place, almost like a pump and dump situation here nearing the base of this position from the previous day. However, it did close out just slightly in the green. So you could argue and say that there was a lot of selling pressure that's now been relieved off of that. And we'll see how it continues to rally on. I would be looking at a support line at $700. Further down below that, we're looking at $676. Right now, it needs to try and break above the previous day high, which was at $740. Very close as of the time of me making this video. And then the next level is at $747. Past that, then we really want to look at $800, then $834, and then we're starting to get back into the ranges where we can start to evaluate if it's going to make its rally back up towards the all-time high. But I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves in that regard, right? We're throwing out a lot of numbers here. Let's try and keep it in the realm of reason just a little bit. Let's go and look at the graph now. A lot of people have been really interested in this project, but it's feeling like it is dying pretty heavily. There was so much FOMO right off the bat, and as it is right now, it had another day of closure in the red from previous. It is rallying a little bit up more right now. From the previous day, it at one point dropped all the way down to 33 cents. Right, so that 33-cent range is comparable to several other days back on December 25th and December 23rd, but it is making a little bit of rally up right now. I would be concerned if it does dip down to that range around 33 cents, as it is moving in the upward position. Looks like we could see a little bit of resistance. I would expect right around here at 42 cents. And then most notably would actually be right around this position at 50 cents, 0.498. You can see we got 1, 2, 3 different candle positions here that are all right around in the same range, just a slight discrepancy, but it's more or less 50 cents. So breaking the 40-cent psychological barrier and then going up towards the 50-cent range is obviously going to be key for this. Candle wicks are pretty heavy on this, so there's a lot of still pump and dump situations, which are more common when you see something that has a lower market capitalization, like something like the graph or a lower price point itself. It can be more easily manipulated. After that, let's go ahead and take a look at Orchid, and then we're going to finish up. We're going to take a look at some XRP. Looking at Orchid, had another day of closure in the red. This is forming another form of, another period of consolidation going sideways here. You can see that it attempts to try and make some action movements, but it's not really doing much. And this has been a lot of closure down below this actual support line. So the idea of this potentially coming through and maintaining itself is that final point, as I was kind of talking about before with this. It would have to be, I mean, today is that decisive moment. They would have to move one direction or another, right? So this is unsubstantiated, I would say, at this point. with this trend pattern that I had previously set. So if we actually move this down here, we're going to try and identify just a little bit more strongly where this position could actually go in the next time frame. So we're now actually widening quite a bit this overall spectrum, right? Which you could even technically cut off the line right here and it would still have a formation within the same zone. So looking at that, let's go ahead and zoom in a bit. We're going to go ahead and raise the bar on this just slightly. Yeah, I would say right about here. We got these points of references there, and then pulling this right across. Want it to tap 3 different instances. So this passes just slightly below. Got 1-2 different bounces off right there. So this looks like a January 6th position for a more wider symmetrical triangle position since we have consolidation going on before it decides what it wants to do. What's also interesting with this is if you look at the 21 EMA, you can see that the 21 EMA is having a downward slope position, right? So as this continues to move down, this continues to move sideways, it's more likely for this to have a crossover in this position, and then that could actually turn to be a very bullish sign, as crossing above the 21 EMA is typically a sign of a trend reversal and a further continuation up. So I would be looking at that and keeping an eye on that position right there for that date, so around January 6th. As it is right now, it looks like a level of support is going to be around 22 cents, 0.2248. We have some resistance going on at 25 cents or 0.2491 on that 21 EMA. Another position at 25.77, 0.2577. And then if we could break above this consolidated zone and more accurately enter around the median zone of this other consolidated space, that's going to be looking right around the price range of 27 cents, 0.2755, high break zone at 32 cents, and then a further continuation on. But we have large candle wicks that take place with this. This has been largely a pump and dump situation. I love Orchid. I believe in it. I think it's got tons of potential. But as it is right now, a lot of sideways action, and we'll have to see how things continue to play out. Most of the eyes are on things like Bitcoin right now and Ethereum. Ethereum starts to rally even harder, then we could see a lot of the ERC20 tokens starting to make a stronger push as well. But it doesn't feel like it's quite their time just yet. So we might see this fully break out all the way towards January 6th before it decides it wants to make its own run. So hopefully it's going to do well. Right now, though, overall, you look at it from the big picture, not doing great, right? Large selling pressure from the $1 range all the way down, started to recover a little bit, and then starting to come back down once again. And hopefully it has its time, but we'll have to wait and see. And then let's see, did I say anything more for the negative side? I mentioned one dip down zone right there. And then I would be largely concerned with right around here because we could see it on previous days as well. That's around 21 cents, 0.2167. Then lastly, let's go ahead and look up XRP USD. And looking at XRP, you can see consecutive days of red with all this negative news. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, or 5 days of closures in the red with the 6th day now also showing signs of more selling pressure at 21 cents. The technical analysis is not saying strong sell, which is right above my head here. It's actually saying sell. So it's still holding fairly well, but obviously with the negative news and the upcoming closure on Coinbase, that's not great news for it. I'm curious to see if this is going to drop down to sub 10 cents, like around maybe 9 cents. I don't know if that's possible or not, but we'll have to wait and see. And I'm sure some people are just going to keep holding on. A lot of people that support XRP are very big supporters of it, and they're basically willing to ride it out all the way. I'm okay with the project. I'm not like a super huge super fan or anything like that. I'm okay with it. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and hold on to it and just see how things go. It's not like I had a ton invested in it. 17 cents is a bottom line that I would be looking at right around here. As you guys can see, it comes across in this zone. So that could be a potential bounce off of. Otherwise, a further breakdown would actually see it maybe go down to right around 11 cents here. I'm going to go ahead and get this level set up as well for you guys. And then anything below 11 cents, I'm not even seeing a reference on TradingView with this. So I guess right now that's what we got to kind of work with, right? If it decides it wants to come back up The 21 EMA is going to be a key level. That's actually associated with December 24th as well. That's around 39 cents. But with the negative news of what's going on with the lawsuit, I think that is highly unlikely unless it's just a pump and dump type situation, or if other news decides to come out that sheds light that this could actually be okay, right? So we'll have to see how things go with this. That's going to go ahead and be it for this video, guys. If you're new to the channel, once again, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up like button. Let's try to get to 100 likes if possible. Hit that bell icon so you know whenever we have the latest video come up and you can stay up to date with everything. Drop a comment down below if you want to say hi, if you want to talk about anything that we had here, any of that good stuff. I appreciate all you guys being here, being a part of this community. Onward and upward we go, and I will see you guys in the next episode.